Hello, welcome back to Global Business Europe. The iconic migratory monarch butterfly that flies thousands of kilometres has been officially declared at risk of extinction.
For thousands of years, the monarch turned North American woodlands into kaleidoscopes of colour in one of nature's most spectacular mass migrations. But now it's in serious trouble. Well, Craig Hilton-Taylor is head of the Red List Unit at the International Union for Conservation of Nature, which draws up the list of endangered species. Welcome to the programme. So more species added to this endangered list, including monarch butterflies. What is reducing their numbers?
Thanks, Robin. Thanks for having me and giving me this opportunity to talk. So it's a range of different threats to the migratory monarch that's happening. So in its wintering range, where the millions of them come together, it's threatened by habitat loss, particularly illegal and legal deforestation. But then outside in its summer range, it's affected by the use of herbicides and pesticides, which kill the butterflies and their larvae, but also kill the host plants that they depend on. And then on top of that, we have the increasing risk of climate change. As the world warms up, the warmer temperatures are not good for the butterflies because they tend to migrate earlier, so they leave their wintering sites earlier, and they get to the summer grounds and the plants are not there for them to eat. Likewise, the severe extreme climate events, like very cold winters, millions of them get killed if the forests are damaged in any way. So there are a whole range of different threats that are impacting on the migratory monarch.
And also on this endangered list is a species of fish, the sturgeon. Is it the same kind of story, habitat loss, climate change?
It's a combination of those two, plus a third one, unsustainable use by people for consumption. So there are 27 species of sturgeon in the world, and sadly, with this update, we've declared one of them extinct. That's the Chinese paddlefish. We have thought it was extinct for a while, but finally, evidence shows that it doesn't exist anymore. We haven't seen it in the wild since 2003. But all the other 26 remaining species are all listed in the threatened category, with 17 of them sitting in the most threatened category, critically endangered, which means they have a very high risk of going extinct unless we do something about that.
There has been some surprisingly good news, though, for one species that is less rare than we had thought.
Yes, so this is the tiger. So the status of the tiger hasn't changed. It's still listed as endangered because of what's happened to tigers across Asia over the last 30 years, where they've had more than a 50% reduction in their population. But since in recent years, we've been trying to work out exactly how many tigers are still out there, and they've been developing good techniques now to monitor and to count the tigers. This is working with scientists across the region and with many partners across the area. And we now have a very good baseline to know how many tigers are really out there. But from the data that we have, it looks like there's been a 40% increase in tiger numbers from about 3,200 in 2015 to an estimated best estimate now about 4,500. So that really is good news, showing that conservation efforts are moving the tiger in the right direction. But we still have a long way to go. It's in severe threat in many parts of Asia, particularly Southeast Asia. So we need to take the lessons learned from places like India, Nepal, Thailand, with these very good conservation programs in place, and try to apply those lessons now in other parts of Asia.
And when we talk about the effects of climate change, we don't often talk about the effect on our natural species of wildlife. How much of a role does climate change play in keeping them alive?
Climate change is a very hard threat to detect because it's often so closely linked to other threats. So, for example, climate change with increasing droughts and so on is resulting in increasing fires and increasing intensity of fires. And it's very easy to see fire as the main threat. So that's often what gets coded as a threat to the species, more fires. But invariably, the underlying cause is climate change. Likewise, the emergence of new diseases around the world, often that's linked to climate change. With changing climates, so these diseases then have a chance to spread. And so it's usually the disease that gets recorded, but it's linked to climate change. And likewise, habitats. As habitats dry out and become less suitable for species then have to try and move. And if they can't move easily, then they are faced with extinction. And so all these things, often it's climate change at the cause of them, but the most immediate threat is often something fire, loss of habitat, disease. But underlying it all is climate change.
Craig Hilton-Taylor from the International Union of Conservation of Nature, thank you very much indeed for talking to us today.